Blake Shelton is heading back to Las Vegas, and this time, he's doing it with a lot more confidence, and a lot more jokes. In a brand new exclusive interview, the country superstar opened up about returning to the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace for another residency, competing with his own wife for audiences on the Strip, watching Gwen Stefani's son fall in love with country music, and hitting a massive career milestone that few artists ever reach. Blake admits that when he first heard the word, residency, he wasn't exactly thrilled. The idea of staying in one city and repeating a show night after night made him nervous. Vegas is high pressure, the audiences are demanding, and expectations are huge. But after his first 6 performances, something changed. He says he completely fell in love with it, the energy of the crowd, the intimacy of the theater, and the feeling that every single night mattered just as much as the first. That love affair with Las Vegas is why he's back again, locking in new runs of shows in January and May. And he's not coming alone, at least not figuratively, because at the same time, his wife Gwen Stefani is also performing in Vegas with her legendary band No Doubt. Blake couldn't resist poking fun at the situation, joking that the two of them are basically running dueling residencies. He laughs that fans should go see Gwen first, because she's obviously the real superstar, and then maybe wander over to his show afterward, out of pity, to support the whole family. The humor is classic Blake, but beneath it is genuine admiration. He speaks about Gwen with warmth and pride, especially when the conversation turns to her kids. One of them, Zuma, has recently become obsessed with country music, and Blake couldn't be more amused or flattered. He says the teenager is learning to play guitar, diving into classic country songs, and starting to form his own musical identity. Blake admits that when he looks at Zuma, he sees a lot of himself at that same age, curious, passionate, and completely absorbed by music. But he's careful to point out that the kid isn't trying to copy him. Instead, Zuma is carving out his own lane, figuring out what kind of artist he wants to be, and doing it on his own terms. For Blake, that independence is what matters most. The interview also takes a reflective turn when Blake talks about where he is in life right now. The year 2026 marks 25 years since his very first single hit the airwaves, and that number still doesn't quite feel real to him. He's also turning 50, a moment that naturally makes anyone pause and look back. Blake says that when you start out in the music business, you don't expect to last a quarter of a century. You're just trying to get one song on the radio, one album out the door, one tour booked. To still be standing after all these years, to still be selling tickets, releasing music, and headlining major venues, is something he describes as incredibly rare and deeply humbling. He sounds grateful more than anything else, aware that careers like his don't happen by accident. When the spotlight shifts away from the stage, Blake paints a surprisingly low-key picture of his everyday life in Vegas. Instead of wild nights out on the Strip, he says he mostly ends up back in his room watching television and shopping online. Specifically, he confesses to buying gardening supplies and flower seeds for Gwen, sometimes in bulk, even though he fully admits that half of them probably won't survive back home in Oklahoma. It's a small, domestic detail, but it reveals a softer side of the superstar, the husband scrolling through websites, adding seeds to a cart, and hoping something beautiful grows later. It's a far cry from the roaring crowds and bright lights of Caesar's Palace, and that contrast seems to suit him just fine. The interview wraps up with one more playful moment. Cameras follow Blake for a quick backstage walk, and he raises a glass of vodka in a celebratory toast before admitting, mid-tour, that he's never actually walked through that particular hallway of the venue before. Even after decades in the business, some corners of showbiz are still brand new to him. From nervous beginnings to sold-out Vegas nights, from family jokes to career-defining anniversaries, Blake Shelton comes across as relaxed, grateful, and exactly as witty as fans expect. He's a superstar who doesn't take himself too seriously, a veteran who still marvels at how far he's come, and an artist who, 25 years in, is clearly not ready to slow down. And with more Vegas shows on the calendar, a milestone birthday ahead, and a new generation discovering country music right inside his own family, Blake Shelton's story is still unfolding, one joke, one guitar riff, and one residency at a time.